Lecture number 3 on derivatives. I hope you enjoyed the first and the second lecture. Now we are on to lecture number 3. Last lecture we had done a few questions, and I would like to do 2 additional questions today, and then we will come to the second part of derivatives, that is options. In this particular session, we will be taking up 2 additional questions on derivatives 1, where we will see the hedging part of it, where we had done the hedging with the help of hedge ratio we calculated. So you can go back to your page where we have got that hedge ratio that we had done yesterday, because from there I will be taking up the question. That means I will be taking up one question on hedging before we start with the topic of options. So that particular question is deliberately being done by me because I want you to have one particular question that we have done on hedging with futures contract. That is the formula is given to you on page 137. We had done it yesterday in the last lecture. Page 137. Okay, so on the basis of that, we will take up a question, and thereafter we will go to the second part, that is options. And once we take options, I told you options is a very interesting and a very interesting practical topic, where if you don't pay attention, it will become difficult. So I request you to ensure that you are having full concentration when you are doing this chapter on options, because small points are there, option strategies are there, which are very important and absolutely new for you. So you need to pay full concentration on this lecture 3 and the further lectures to follow. Okay, so let us start with lecture number 3. So as I said, first we'll take up 2 additional questions. Write down the first additional question. Write down. It is not there in the book. Please write down. BSE index 5000. BSE index 5000. Value of portfolio rupees 10,10,000. Value of portfolio rupees 10,10,000. Risk-free interest rate 9% per annum. Risk-free interest rate 9% per annum. Dividend yield on index 6% per annum. Dividend yield on the index 6% per annum. Beta of the portfolio 1.5. If you remember, beta of the portfolio is nothing but the hedge ratio. We assume that a futures contract on the BSE index, with 4 months maturity is used. With 4 months maturity is used to hedge the value of the portfolio. To hedge the value of the portfolio over the next 3 months. Over the next 3 months. One futures contract is for delivery. One futures contract is for delivery 50 times the index. 50 times the index. Based on the above information, calculate price of futures contract, And second, the gain on short futures position. The gain on short futures position, if index turns out to be 4,500. If index turns out to be 4,500 in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months. Okay, now you have to take note of this. Contract is for delivery 50 times the index. Which means that, just like I said, that one contract is made up of 50 shares. Like this, one contract is made up of 50 units of the index. Okay, so on that basis we will be calculating. Now first we calculate futures of the index. Okay, then we calculate number of futures to be bought to hedge, and then we calculate the gain on futures sale. Okay, so the first part of the question is calculate the price of futures contract. Now it is an index, BSE index, that is Sensex. Therefore, it is not going to carry any dividend. Since it is not going to carry any dividend, the futures price will be given as S into E raised to RT. What is R? Risk-free rate is 9%. What is T? 4 months. So 4 months maturity, that means 4 by 12, 1 by 3. Okay? Now, futures price is equal to S into E raised to R minus Q by T. Why R minus Q? Because in this question, the index is going to give us some dividend. See the question, dividend yield on the index is 6% per annum. Normally we say that index don't give us dividend. But in this case, they have told us that dividend is given on the index at the rate of 6% per annum. So 5,000 is the spot rate into E raised to 9% risk-free rate of interest minus 6% dividend yield into 4 by 3, 4 by 12. So that comes to E raised to 0.01. Refer your E value table. Value is 1.0101. That comes to 5,050. So futures index future value is going to be 5,050. Now it is 5,000, it is going to be 5,050. Now number of futures contract to be bought, to be purchased. Formula, hedge ratio into rupee value of the spot position. What is the rupee value of the spot position? 10 lakh 10,000. I have to hedge that amount. Okay. Value of the index is 5,050 and per contract it is 50 units of the index. Hedge ratio is 1.5. So number of futures to be bought. Hedge ratio into rupee value of spot position requiring hedging, that is 10 lakh 10,000, divided by rupee value underlying one futures contract. One futures contract value is going to be 5,050 into 50. So this comes to approximately about 6.06. I'll round it up to 6 contracts. Okay. Now in the future, they are saying that it is going to be the Nifty, the Sensex is going to be 5,050, 5050. Okay. We have calculated that 5050. But if the actual turns out to be 4,500, then what is the profit or loss? Futures should be 5,050. But if the actual turns out to be 4,500, then what is the position? Then we have actual turns out to be 4,500. Our futures is 5,050. So there is a profit. So profit means I will be selling futures. So on the sale of futures, what will we get? 6 contracts are going to be there. Okay. Per contract, the number of units will be 50. And the price differential will be 5,050 minus 4,500. 6 contracts into 50 units per contract into the differential 5,050 minus 4,050, 4,500. That comes to 1,65,000 rupees. Okay. So this is the first part of this is the first additional question that we have done, making use of the hedging formula. So you should not say that this particular formula is not covered. We have not done question on this. We have done question on this also. Okay. Now write down the question number 2. That is additional question number 2. Write down the question. Calculate the price of 3 months future, 3 months PQR futures. PQR is name of company. 3 months PQR futures. If PQR bracket face value 10 rupees, face value 10 rupees, quotes rupees 220, quotes rupees 220 on the NSE, and the 3 months future price, quotes at rupees 230. 1 month borrowing rate is given 15%. 1 month borrowing rate is given as 15%. It is not the risk-free rate. So that means we'll have to go by the formula spot plus cost of carry minus dividend. Expected annual dividend is given 25%. Examine arbitrage opportunities. Examine arbitrage opportunities and show profit profile. Last time I told you, profit profile. Profit profile. So now risk-free rate of interest is not given, therefore I can't go by the normal formula S is equal to S into E raised to RT. So I go by the formula futures is equal to spot plus cost of carry minus the dividend. How much is dividend? Dividend is 25%. 25% on what? Always on the face value. What is the face value? 10 rupees. So dividend is to be calculated on 10%, on 10 rupees. That is 2.5. So write the solution. Theoretical future price is calculated as follows. Theoretical futures price is calculated as follows. Formula. Futures is equal to spot plus cost of carry. Spot plus cost of carry minus the dividend. Spot is equal to 220. Cost of carry 15% for 3 months. So 15% of 220 into 3 by 12 minus 25% dividend on 10 rupees. 25% dividend on 10 rupees, 2.5. So that comes to 220 plus 8.25 minus 2.5. So the futures prices, theoretical futures prices, 225.75. What is the actual futures price? 230. Theoretical futures price 225.75. Actual futures price 230. Is it equal? It is not equal. Since it is not equal, there is a possibility of arbitrage. AFP is greater. That means it is overvalued. Overvalued means I will sell futures. If I am going to sell futures, I will buy in the spot market. So AFP is greater than FFP. Futures is overvalued. So buy in the spot market and sell futures. Followed. Now for the profit profile. Profit profile. Cash outflow. What is the cash outflow? To buy the share of 220, I told you, I don't have cash always. Always I go on credit basis. So I borrow 220. For that rate of interest is 15% for 3 months. So cash outflow is going to be 228.25. What is my cash inflow? On selling the futures, I will be receiving 230 plus dividend of 2.5. So total cash inflow 232.5. 232.5 minus 228. So there is a net gain of 4.25. Okay. So last time I had just shown you in the rough key how to calculate the profit profile. So now an actual problem where the profit profile is to be calculated, that also I have done with you, which means that you are having practice of calculations. Now we come to options, that is derivatives part 2. First of all, meaning of option. When I talk about meaning of option, what is an option? I say that option means the option of buying or not buying, and option means that I am purchasing a right to buy or not to buy, or I am purchasing the right to sell or not to sell. So I purchase the right but not the obligation. I don't have any obligations. I don't have any compulsions. But I can exercise the right. I have the power to exercise the right. But nobody can force me to do it. I give you an example. I purchase a ticket for a movie. I purchase a ticket for a movie, I pay 250 rupees. So I have got the right to attend the movie, to watch the movie, to go for that particular show on that particular day, time, and watch the movie. But if I decide not to watch the movie and I want to sleep at home, the theatre manager cannot come to my house and pull me and drag me and say that you have purchased, come and watch the movie, compulsory. That is not possible. So that type of a situation, that means when I purchase a movie ticket, it is actually an option that I have purchased. The right to watch or the right not to watch the movie. Okay? So that is an option. There are two parties to the option. One is a buyer, one is a seller. Buyer of the option is the buyer of the right. Seller of the option is the seller of the right. There is no commodity bought and sold here. The right is purchased, the right is sold. Buyer of the option is called as a holder of the option. Seller of the option is called as a writer of the option. So buyer of the option, also called as holder of the option. Seller of the option, also called as writer of the option. Okay, now what does the buyer have and what does the seller have? Buyer has the right to buy or not to buy. Buyer has purchased the right to buy or not to buy. What has the seller done? Seller has sold the right. Seller has sold the right. That means if the buyer decides to buy, seller has got the compulsion, the obligation to sell. Whenever the buyer decides to buy, buyer may buy, may not buy or not to buy. So if he decides to buy, seller has to sell compulsorily. The obligation is there. He cannot refuse the buyer. The seller has the obligation to sell whenever the buyer decides to exercise his right. He cannot refuse the buyer. That is one type of option. Or buyer of the option buys the right to sell or not to sell. He purchases the right to sell or not to sell. And if the buyer of the option decides that he is going to sell the commodity, he is going to sell the commodity, then seller of the option has got no other way but to buy the commodity. So he has got the obligation to perform, the obligation to buy whenever the right is exercised by the buyer. So look at this now. Buyer has got no obligation, he has no compulsion, but he has got only the right. Seller has got only obligation, he does not have any rights. Now this particular option that is there, this is option number 1. This is called as call option. This is option number 2. This is called as put option. Call option, put option. Correct? This part is clear? I am doing it very slowly. Option means the right to do or not to do something. What is that to do or not to do? Either to buy or not to buy, or to sell or not to sell. If it is buy or not to buy, it is called a call option. If it is sell or not to sell, it is called as a put option. Clear? So let us move to the next one. Options are of two types. Call option. I told you. What is a call option? Call option is the option to buy or not to buy. Call option. Call. When you call a person, you call that person towards you. You don't call the person there. Call the person towards you. Go to buy. When you are buying also, the item comes towards you. Item comes with you. It's call option, to buy or not to buy. Second option is called as put option. I'll come to that. Buyer of the call option has a right to buy or not to buy. He has no obligation to buy. Seller of the call option has the obligation to sell whenever the buyer exercises right to buy. The same thing I have now rearranged from the point of view of call option and put option. This is call option. Buyer of the call option has the option to buy or not to buy. There is no compulsion to buy. Seller of the call option has the obligation to sell whenever the buyer decides to buy. Put option. Sell or not to sell. Buyer of the put option has the right to sell or not to sell. There is no obligation to sell. You can't force him to sell. Seller of the put option should buy whenever the buyer wants to sell. Buyer of the right, not buyer of the commodity, buyer of the right decides to sell the commodity. Look at it, copy down properly. I will say, sir, buyer has got the right to do or not to do. Seller has got the compulsion to do. So why will the seller of the right sell the shares, sell the right? He will sell the right because he is going to charge you a premium for that. He is going to charge you a premium for that. And that is his income, that is his profit. He is taking a risk now. So for the risk he is charging a premium. So buyer is going to buy the right, and he is going to pay a premium to the seller. He is going to pay a premium to the seller. That premium is called as option premium. This premium is called as option premium. Now here again, since it's a derivative, I need a price to be fixed. That fixed price that is going to be there, that is called as exercise price, or it is called as strike price. What is it called? Exercise price or strike price. Okay, now let us summarize all these. Buyer of call option is called as holder of the option. Seller of call option is called as writer of the option. Price paid by buyer to seller is called as option premium. And price agreed upon between the buyer and the seller of the option is called as strike price or exercise price. Okay. Now let us see. When do you purchase a call option? And when will you exercise the call option? When will you purchase a put option? And when will you exercise the put option? And what is the nature of premium? Because there will be different sellers of the option. And different sellers will be charging a different price. So the option premium changes with what is the strike price, agreed price or the strike price. So there is a particular rule, there is a particular principle that we have to follow. And in order to understand that, we have to understand when is a call option entered into, when is a put option entered into, when is a call option exercised, when is a put option exercised. Call option is the option to buy or not to buy. I want to buy a share. I want to buy a share, but I don't have money now. I will buy in future. I want to buy 100 shares, but I don't have money now. I want to buy it at a future date. But future, the prices are likely to increase. Future, prices are likely to increase. So, I want to ensure that I don't suffer a loss, a big loss, if the prices increase and I want to buy the shares. Followed? Now the price of the share is 100 rupees. Likely prices 110, 120, 130, 140, likely to increase. Correct? I want to buy, not now, but in the future. But in the future, the prices are likely to increase. 110, 120, 130, 140. These are the 4 likely prices. I want to restrict my loss. I want to ensure that the increase, the steep increase in the price does not affect me, reduces my loss when I buy in the future. So I take a call option. So I buy a call option. So when is a call option bought? A call option is bought when I want to purchase, but not now, at a later date, and the prices are likely to increase. When will you sell the call option? When you feel that, see, there has to be contrast view between the buyer and the seller. I am expecting prices to increase, so I am trying to prevent my loss. If the prices decrease, then I don't have any problem, I will buy at a lower price. But I want to buy in the future and the prices are likely to increase, so I am trying to protect my loss. But you say that, sir, prices are not going to increase, they are going to decrease actually. So we enter into a contract. I say that, okay, it is like betting. I say, fine. If the prices increase, I will purchase. You say, no sir, prices are not going to increase. So I say, let us enter into a contract. If the prices increase, I will purchase from you. You will have to pay me. You will have to sell the shares to me. You say, okay. Because you are sure that prices are going to fall, and I am sure that prices are going to increase. And I am telling you, prices are going to increase, I want to enter into a contract with you. You are happy. You say, arey, we will enter. So you and I enter into a contract. The buyer purchases the right when he feels that the prices are going to rise. Call option. When do I purchase a put option? I will purchase a put option reverse, when the prices are likely to fall. Put means what? To sell. Put means to sell. I put my commodity for sale. Correct? So put option means the right to sell. When will I sell? When the prices are likely to fall. I want to sell, but not now. I want to sell at a future date. But future, the prices are likely to fall. So I prevent the losses from the decrease in the price. I enter into a put option. Okay? Now let us look at this particular principle that I am going to show you. For a call option premium, higher for a lower strike price and lower for a higher strike price. Example. Suppose the strike prices are 110, 120, 130, 140. I am standing here. Current market price. Current market price is 100. But I want to purchase in future. Call option premiums that the seller is going to charge me is 25 rupees for this, 20 rupees for this, 15 rupees for this, and 10 rupees for this. So if I want to purchase a call option at 110, I have to pay 25 rupees premium. If I have to purchase a call option at 140 strike price, premium is 10 rupees. Higher for a lower strike price. The premium is high for a low strike price. This is a strike price. Or you can call it as exercise price. Higher, premium is higher. This is a premium. Premium is higher for a lower strike price and premium is lower for a higher strike price. Why so? You have to learn this. I don't have to learn this. Because obvious, from 100, first it will touch 140 or first it will touch cross 110. What will it cross first? As the prices are increasing, will the price increase from 100 to 140 or will the price increase from 100 to 110 first? The probability of touching 110 is first. So the risk is more. Probability of touching 140 is remote. It may not go up to 140, it may go up to 130, 135 and then fall. So the probability of touching 140 is remote. Probability of touching 110 is very high. So risk is high at 110. So premium is high at 110. Higher the risk, higher the returns. So higher for a lower strike price, lower for a higher strike price. Put option. Same example, exercise price I say 70, 80, 90, 100. I am over here. Prices are likely to fall from 110 to 100, 100 to 90, 90 to 80, 80 to 70. Premium will be 5 rupees for this, 10 rupees for this, 20 rupees for this, 30 rupees for this. Now what do you find? Higher for a higher strike price, lower for a lower strike price. Premium is very high for a high strike price. Premium is very low for a low strike price because when the prices fall, first it will touch 100, it will not touch 70 first. First it will touch 100, then it will go down to 90, then it will go down to 80. Like that it will slip down. The possibility of reaching 70 is very remote. Probability is less, risk is less at 70. Risk is more at 100. So premium is more at 100. So higher for a higher strike price and lower for a lower strike price. Clear? Understood. So this is what is important for you to know. This is what you have to copy down. I told you now, it is difficult, but if you are paying attention, your focus, 100% focus is there, there is no way that you can make mistake. Because it is pure logic, practical. Okay? Option premium now is divided into two parts. Option premium is divided into two parts. It is made up of two parts. One is called as intrinsic value, one is called as time value. What is intrinsic value? Important. I have entered into a contract, a call option, where the exercise price is 110. Actual market price turns out to be 125. Question is, will I exercise the call option? What is a call option? Call option means to buy or not to buy. Will I buy at 110 when market price is 125? Yes, sir. Why? Because exercise price is less than the market price. Market, if I go to buy, I will have to purchase at 125. I am getting the same. I have entered into a contract to purchase at 110. So I'll purchase at 110, sell at 125 in the open market. Make profit of 15 rupees straight. Clear now? So I have entered into a contract to execute the contract at 110 if the prices increase. So yes, now I will exercise the right to purchase. I'll exercise when the market price is more than the strike price or the exercise price. Strike price is also called as exercise price. So the market price is more than the exercise price or the strike price. I will exercise the call option and make a profit. So how do I make a profit? I purchase, I buy at 110 from you because I have entered into a contract with you. I buy from you at 110. I am not bothered from where you are getting. I am not concerned from where you are going to get. I will purchase from you and you have to sell to me compulsory. Compulsion is for you, not for me. So when I decide to exercise my right, you have to sell. You have to sell at 110. So I will buy at 110. I will sell at 125 in the open market. So I will make a profit of 15 rupees. This profit of 15 rupees is actually my intrinsic value. And when this happens, I say that it is in the money. The option contract is in the money. So when is the option contract in the money? Option contract is in the money when the strike price is less than the market price. Call option. Suppose strike price, it is in the money. The terms which you have to make use of, in the money. If the strike price is equal to market price, I will say it is at the money. At the money. And when the strike price is more than the market price, I will say it is out of the money, OTM. In the money, at the money, out of the money. Okay? So this is what we have got to know. So also, when it is in the money, there will be an intrinsic value. There will be an intrinsic value. Okay? So this example is clear now. I have given you the example of call option. And I have explained to you when will the call option be exercised. And when it is exercised, what will happen. All these things I have explained to you. So what is the intrinsic value now? How do I define the intrinsic value? That I have to see. Definition. Okay? Intrinsic value definition. It is that part of the premium which represents the extent to which the option is in the money. ITM means in the money. It is a profit. What is the time value? Time value, there is no definition. The difference between the option premium and the intrinsic value is called as time value. So, definition of time value, it is equal to the difference between the option premium and the intrinsic value. Clear? Followed up till here. Okay. So, see that you write down all these things. It is there in your book. This part is there in your book. But even then, when you write it like this, you know what is the example actually and what is the concept actually. Clear? Shall I move to the examples now? Before I do the actual problems, I want to do some examples with you, so that we get accustomed to this. And then we'll come to the actual problems. Clear? Fine now? Okay, let us take the first example now. Sure, let us start with the example now. Example says, we are doing two examples now, not from the book, you have to copy down this example. Two examples where in one example both of them are important because I am explaining the concept with the help of example now. In one, you are going to identify what is in the money, out of the money, at the money. And the other one, you are going to separate the call premium amount into the intrinsic value and the time value. Okay. So copy down this question. Copy down this question. It is not there in your material. Identify which of the following options. Identify which of the following options are ITM, ATM and OTM. ITM, ATM and OTM for the buyer of the option. For the buyer of the option. Which of these options would be exercised? Treat each case individually. Treat each case individually. First one, RIL 840 call. RIL 840 call. When the price on expiry is rupees 855. When the price on expiry is rupees 855. Second, ACC 510 put. ACC 510 put. When the price on expiry is rupees 510. I'll explain the meaning of each one of these two. Third one, RIL 830 call. RIL 830 call. When the price on expiry is 840. When the price on expiry is 840. Fourth, ACC 520 put. ACC 520 put. When the price on expiry is rupees 500. When the price on expiry is rupees 500. RIL 800 call. RIL 800 call. When the price on expiry is 765. When the price on expiry is 765. And last one, ACC 540 put. ACC 540 put. When the price on expiry is rupees 555. When the price on expiry is rupees 555. Okay. Now, what are these figures that are given to us? 840, 855. 840 is the exercise price, or what we call as the strike price. All these figures which are given to you on the left hand side, all these figures are your strike price or exercise price. All these figures are given to you, this is your market price. Okay. Now, when will a call option be exercised? I told you, when the market price is higher than the strike price. When market price is higher than the strike price, the call option will be exercised. When is a put option going to be exercised? When the market price is less than the strike price. Okay. So all these things we have to know now, because when we are solving the problems, it will be necessary for us to know whether it is in the market, out of the market, etc. Now, if it is a question where I am going to exercise the option, irrespective, call option or put option. If I am going to exercise the option, then it is always in the money. It is always in the money. If I am not going to exercise the option, then I say that option will lapse. What is the word used? The word used will be lapse. If I am going to exercise the option, I will write exercise. And if I am going to exercise the option, it is always in the money. Okay? If I am not going to exercise the option, I will say lapse. Now in lapse there are two possibilities. In lapse there are two possibilities. Either that the market price and the strike price are equal. For example, in this case. Second one. Market price and exercise price are equal. Then I will say lapse. That is one case. Second lapse is when the market price and the strike price are not equal. They are not equal. So if it is equal, then what do I say? If it is equal, then in this case I will say that it is at the money. ATM. It is at the money. If the market price and the strike price are equal, then it is at the money. One option of lapse. The other option of lapse, it is out of the money. OTM. It is out of the money. So in lapse there may be two possibilities. Either it is at the money or it is out of the money. Fine. So that is how we are going to proceed with this solution now. So when we are solving the problem, as I said, we should know what is going to happen, when I am going to exercise, when I am not going to exercise, and all these things. Okay. So let us prepare a table. Number, market price, option, strike price, action, in the money or out of the money, or at the money. Six columns. Okay. 6 cases. Write down the market price first. The right hand side figures. Write down the market price first. Done. Now write down the type of option, the nature of option, whether it is a call option, put option, call option, put option, call option, put option. Correct? Now write down the strike price. All these figures are given to you. Write down the strike price or the exercise price. Strike price or the exercise price. Okay? Now what we will do is, we will see the action, what is to be done, and whether it is in the money, out of the money, and at the money. How we have to solve this? First I'll see what type of option, call option. When will the call option be exercised? When the market price is more than the strike price. So market price is 855, strike price is 840. Yes, market price is more than the strike price. So what will I write? Exercise or lapse? I will say exercise. Okay, if it is exercise, what did I tell you? It is always close your eyes. Blindly you can write over there, in the money. So write ITM. Okay, now what is the nature of the option? Put option. When is a put option going to be exercised? When the market price is less than the strike price. But market price and strike price are equal. Market price and strike price are equal. So we are not going to exercise. It will be exercised only when the market price is less. It is not less, it is equal. So I am not going to exercise. So it is lapse. Okay. Now if it is lapse, I told you two possibilities. Either it is equal or it is not equal. It is equal. So in that case, I say what? At the money. I will say at the money. Okay. Next one. What is the call option? Call option I will exercise when the market price is more than the strike price. Market price is more than the strike price. What is the market price? 840. What is the strike price? 830. Will I exercise? Yes, sir. I will exercise. So I will write exercise. If it is exercise, what I do? Blindly I write in the money. Next one. Put option. Put option I will exercise only when the market price is less than the strike price. Market price should be less than the strike price. What is the market price? 500. What is the strike price? 520. So will I exercise the put option? Yes, I will exercise the put option. So I will exercise. If I exercise, it is always in the money. Call option. Call option I exercise if market price is more than the strike price. Market price 765, strike price is 800. It is less, so I will not exercise. Not exercise. So it is lapse. Is it equal? No, it is not equal. So it is not at the money. So it is out of the money. Okay. Next option, put option. Put option will be exercised when market price is less than the strike price. Okay. Put option will be exercised when market price is less than the strike price. So market price is 555, strike price is 540. Is it less? No. So I am not going to exercise. If I am not going to exercise, I will write what? Lapse. If it is lapse and if it is equal, what do I write? It is ATM. But is it equal? It is not equal. So I don't write ATM, I write OTM, out of the money. Clear? Go through the example again. Very important example, and it is going to solidify your basics, and it is also possible in the exam that they can ask you a question for like this for 4 to 5 months. Scoring exam. Okay? I want to go to another example now before I start with the questions. Consider the data relating to a stock contained in the following table. Determine the intrinsic value and the time value. Now breakup of the option premium into intrinsic value and time value in each case. Write down the question first. Write down the question. First two are call options, second two, third and fourth are put options, third, fourth and fifth are put options, sixth one is call option. Okay, now let us see the solution. We'll prepare a table like this with 7 columns. Option, strike price, market price, action, premium, intrinsic value, time value. Intrinsic value, time value. Breaking up the premium. Write fast. Write down the nature of the options in the option column. First two call, next 3 put, last one call. Write down the strike price. Write down the market price. Action now, whether we are going to exercise or we are going to not exercise. First one, call option. Now let's see the nature of the option. Call option. If market price is more than the strike price, I will exercise the option. Will I exercise? Answer is yes. Second one, call option. Market price is less than the strike price. Will I exercise? No. So what do I write? I write lapse. Put option will be exercised. Put option will be exercised only when the market price is less than the strike price. Yes, market price is less than strike price, so exercise. Next one, market price is more than strike price, so lapse. Market price is less than call option. Market price should be more. No, it is not more. So I will lapse. Okay, now write down the premiums which are given to you. Write down the premiums. Now, intrinsic value, I told you what? It is a profit. Intrinsic value is a profit. Okay, so first let us fill up the profit column and then we will come to the time value. Here I said exercise. Wherever there is exercise, the intrinsic value will come. Wherever there is no exercise, wherever there is lapse, there will be no intrinsic value. Why? Because intrinsic value means I will exercise and make a profit. So profit will come. What is intrinsic value? Profit. When will profit come? When I exercise the option. If I don't exercise the option, there will be no profit. Clear, no? If I am not going to exercise the option, there will be no profit. Only when I exercise the option, there will be profit. So, let us see. In 3 cases, I have written exercise. So, in the 3 cases, I will have to get the profit. How to calculate profit? Here it is a call option. Call option means what? The option to buy or not to buy. If I say I am going to exercise my option, that means I am going to exercise my option to buy. Buy at the strike price. So, I will buy at 90 rupees. I will sell at 100 rupees. If I buy at 90 and sell at 100, I will make a profit of 10 rupees. Clear? If it is lapse over there, I straight away write intrinsic value 0. No profit. I am not going to exercise only. No profit. Achha, next one, put option. Put option means what? The right to sell or not to sell. And I am going to exercise the right to sell. So I am going to sell at 200 and buy at 100. So how much profit? 100 profit. Correct. Lapse means 0. Exercise again. 150. Put option. Put option means that I am going to sell. Sell at 150, buy at 125. So I make a profit of 25. Lapse means 0. Premium minus the intrinsic value is equal to time value. But time value can never be negative. Time value can never be negative. Either it is positive number or it is 0. It can never be negative. So now 5 minus 10, if I am getting a negative number, I will be writing 0. 5 minus 10, I will be writing 0. I can't write a negative number. Time value cannot be negative. 2 minus 0 is 2. 65 minus 100. 65 minus 100 is a negative number. So I don't write negative number. What do I write? I write 0. 4 minus 0 is 4. 30 minus 25 is 5. 30 minus 0 is 30. Follow? These look simple, but they are in the examination. If you don't study the concepts properly, the examination will get answers wrong. Understood up till here? Shall we start with the practical problems then? Okay? Chalo.
Chalo, let us start with the first question.
Question number 1. X Limited stock price is currently rupees 200. Currently rupees 200 means spot price is given to you as 200. Spot price is 200. A 1-year American call option. I have to tell you now what is the meaning of this American call option. Has an exercise price or strike price of 50 rupees. and is priced at 75 rupees. Priced at 75 rupees means it is a premium, option premium. How would you take advantage of this great opportunity? For this you have to know that options are of two types. Both options, call option and the put options. Generally they can be classified as American option and European option. These are the two categories. It has got nothing to do with America and Europe. Nothing to do with America and Europe. But they are called as American option and European option. What is an American option? American option means that that option can be exercised at any point of time from the date of entering into the contract up to the expiration date. So if it is after 1 month, so from the date of entering into the contract till that 1 month expires, at any point of time, situation is favorable to you, you can exercise the option. So I will say on or before expiration. On or before expiration. But European option cannot be exercised at any point of time. European option will be exercised only on expiration date. On expiration date. Not before that. So, American option. Now we are having an American call option. That means we can exercise the option at any point of time before the due date. So I can enter into the contract today and immediately today I can exercise the option. I can enter into the contract today for 1 month and tomorrow if I feel that price is in my favor, I'll exercise the option. But a European call option, if I exercise into, I can exercise only on that particular date which I have predetermined. Clear? Now, since this option is an American option, it can be exercised at any point of time. So I will buy the option. If I buy the option, call option, it is a call option. If I buy the option, I buy the right to call option. Call option is right to buy or not to buy. And I will exercise the option immediately. And I will buy the option because exercise price is 50 rupees. So I will exercise the right to buy at 50 and sell at 200, make a profit of 150. After making profit of 150, even if I have to pay the premium of 75 rupees, I don't mind because 75 rupees still profit is there. Net profit is 75 rupees. So I will exercise the option to buy at 50 rupees. The strike price is 50 rupees. I will sell at open market price 200. I get 150 profit. Minus from that, the premium paid, that is 75 rupees. So total inflow of cash is 200. Outflow of cash is 50 rupees for purchasing the share and 75 rupees for paying the premium. Still I make a profit of 75 rupees. So let us write down. Write down. The call option is an American option. The call option is an American option. That is, it can be exercised. It can be exercised at any point of time. At any point of time, before the expiry date or on the expiry date. Before the expiry date or on the expiry date, on or before the expiry date. In this case, we should buy the American option. In this case, we should buy the American option. and exercise immediately, thereby making a profit of, right over there, 200 minus, in bracket, right, 50 plus 75. This is the price of the share and this is the premium. This is the price of the share. Exercise price, strike price. So 200 minus 25, 125, that is 75 rupees. Okay? Clear? Let us go to question number 2. The equity shares of Rama Limited are being sold at 210 current market price, CMP, spot price. A 3-month call option is available for a premium of 6 rupees per share, and a 3-month put option is available for a premium of 6 rupees per share. Find out the net payoff of the option holder of the call option and a put option, given that strike price in both the cases is 220. The share price on the exercise day is 200, 210, 220, 230, 240. So that means I am giving the options. Now in this particular case, I have been told that there may be a possibility that these may be the share prices. Strike price is both same. Now notice this. This is one of the option strategies. And it is called as a straddle strategy. I'll do all the strategies together, but for the time being. Now what is the speciality of this straddle strategy? Option strategies may, there is one particular strategy called a straddle strategy, where you are buying a call option. And selling a call option, and buying a put option, buying a call option and buying a put option, 3-month put option and a 3-month call option. Okay? Option holder, that means you are buying. So you are buying a call option and you are buying a put option, both at the same strike price, with the same expiration date. Strike price in both the cases. This is important. So what is a straddle strategy? In straddle strategy, what happens is, you buy one call option and you buy one put option at same strike price. So you are buying same at 220. What is the same strike price? It is 220. So when you buy a call option, buy one call option and you buy one put option, that is a strategy. That is called as an option strategy. And what is the name of that strategy? It is called a straddle. Okay? So what is a straddle strategy? Buying one call option and buying one put option at the same strike price. Okay? Now we have to see how to solve this problem. So what I will do is, I will take one at a time first. I will take call option first. I will take put option second. Find out the profit or loss in call option. Find out the profit or loss in put option. If I am going to exercise. When I am going to exercise. And then combine the profit and loss of both the options, so that I know what is the net payoff. The asset net payoff. Okay? So, if the put option holder, right, if the put option holder has bought a call option, and a put option at the same strike price, and the same expiry date, it is a case of long strategy. Why long? Because we have bought now. Both are being bought. So when you buy, it is long. When you sell, it is short. So you are buying both, buying a call option, buying a put option. So buying is long. Now when you buy the call option and put option at the same strike price, only when this condition is satisfied, same strike price and same expiry date, then we call it as a straddle. Since you are buying both the options, it is long straddle. If you are selling both the options at the same strike price and same expiry date, it is a short straddle. Okay, we'll come to this. I told you option strategies are there. We'll come to this. This is one of the strategies. Alright, calculation of net payoff of call option. Different possibilities have been given to you for the strike price, for the market price. Now, I will exercise call option. Only when the market price is more than the strike price. Strike price is what? 220. Strike price is 220. So I will exercise the option only when market price, this is the market price. When the market price is more than 220, that means I will exercise over here, So I will write the call option, the strike price over here. I will buy at 220 over here, Exercise the option means what? Strike price is given to me, strike price is 220. So when it is more than 220, I will exercise the call option. Less the market price. What is the market price in this case? 230 and 240. So I will buy at call option. So I buy at 220 and I sell at 230 and 240 here. So when I buy at 220 and sell at 230, I make a profit of 10. When I buy at 220 and sell at 240, I make a profit of 20. But I paid the premium for that. Since I have bought the rights, I paid the premium for this. How much is the premium paid? 6 rupees. Now that 6 rupees is paid irrespective of whether I am going to exercise the option or not exercise the option. 6 rupees is a compulsory payment. Irrespective of whether I am going to exercise the option or not going to exercise the option, I have to make the payment of premium. That is compulsory. Because whenever you buy something, you have to pay something. Now. You have bought a right. So you are paying for the right, option premium. So what is the net effect here? In the first case, it is 6 rupees only, loss. Second case, 6 rupees loss. Third case, 6 rupees loss. Fourth case, 10 rupees profit you have made, minus from that 6 rupees premium paid, 4 rupees profit. And last case, it is 14 rupees profit. Do these transactions very slowly, very calmly. Have your total focus on that. Okay? Now, calculation of net payoff for put option. Same table I prepare. Put option. Strike price 220. When will I exercise the put option? When strike price is less than 220. So I will exercise the option here and here. The strike price I will write only in those two columns. What is the strike price? 220. What is the market price? 200 and 210. Now it is a put option. Put option means to sell. So I am selling at 220, buying at 200. Selling at 220, buying at 210. So when I sell at 220 and buy at 200 rupees, then that means I am making a profit of 20. When I buy at 210 and sell at 220, I am making a profit of 10. Premium paid, all cases 6 rupees. So in the first case I make a profit of 14, second case I make a profit of 4, third, fourth and fifth case loss of 6 rupees. So one more thing you understand from here. What do you understand? Call option, if it is there, it is, and you are buying a call option, it is limited loss, unlimited gains. Put option also, limited loss, unlimited gains if the price falls. Now let us combine the two figures. Calculation of net profit or loss on straddle strategy. And right here on straddle strategy. In the call option, you made a profit of, you may have suffered a loss of 6 rupees in the first 3 cases and made a profit of 4 and 14. In the put option, you have made profit in the first 2 cases and loss of 6 rupees in the last 3 cases. So net figure is in the first case 8 rupees profit. Second, third, fourth loss. Last case it is 8 rupees profit. So that means in a straddle strategy, what is the conclusion? In a straddle strategy, if the prices go on increasing beyond 240, 250, 260, 270, 280 like that, go on increasing, then also you make a profit. If the prices go on continuously falling, like what has happened in COVID now, all the prices have been continuously falling, then in that case you make unlimited profits. When will you not make a profit? When the prices are stable. In this category, consider third, fourth, second, third, fourth, second, third, fourth. When the prices are in that range, your strike price is what 220. So in that range of 220, in and around 220, less fluctuation, small fluctuations. If there are small fluctuations, then you suffer a loss. But if there are wide fluctuations, then you make a profit. So what is the conclusion? In a straddle strategy, when do you enter into a straddle strategy? You enter into a straddle strategy. I will re-explain this again when we are doing this strategy, but now make a point of this, make a note of this. You enter into a straddle strategy when you feel that there will be volatility, but you do not know whether it is going to be volatility on the upside or volatility on the downside. Whether markets are going to continuously increase or markets are going to continuously fall. But you know that something is going to happen, and it is going to, once it happens, it will be drastic. Will be drastic. So you enter into a straddle strategy. So if your estimation goes wrong and the market remains stable, then you suffer a loss. But if your estimation goes right on either side, you make huge profits. That is the beauty of entering into a strategy. That is why strategizing means planning as per what your thinking goes, what your assumption goes. Let us come to question 3 now. A trader buys for 3 rupees. Trader buys for 3 rupees means 3 rupees is the premium. A call with a strike price of 30 rupees. Sells for 1 rupee a call with a strike price of 35 rupees. Is the strike price same? No. In question 2 the strike price was same. Therefore, it is called as a straddle strategy. Here, the strike price is not the same. One is having a strike price of 30, one is having a strike price of 35. And both are call options. It is not that one is call and one is put. Both are call options. But he is buying one call option with a strike price of 30 and is selling one call option with a strike price of 35. So, in one, he is a buyer, he is the holder of the call option. So he has purchased the right, but not the obligation. In the second, he has sold the right to somebody. Sold the right to somebody. So when he sells the right to somebody, he does not have any option, but he has got the obligation. So to whom he has sold, if that person exercises, then you have to do as per his requirements. So you are a writer of one call and you are a buyer of one call. Let us see how to solve this now. Calculate his net payoff if the stock price is less than 35, less than 30, case 1, more than or equal to 35, case 2, above 30 but below 35, case 3. 3 cases. What do we start with? We say trader of call option, trader is buyer of call option. So first, if he is a buyer, then what will happen? For him, strike price is 30, premium paid is 3. Trader is writer of call option. strike price is 35, and if you are selling, if you are a writer, writer means you are a seller of option, not product. You are not selling any product, you are selling a right, you are buying a right. Seller of call option, you receive the premium because you are selling now, so you are receiving the premium. The premium received is 1 rupee. You are paying 3 rupees, you are receiving 1 rupee, so net amount of cash outflow is 2 rupees. Net outflow of cash is 2 rupees. I take case A. Stock price is less than or equal to 30 rupees on expiry date. Less than or equal to. So 30 will be one of the prices. Then you can take any price below 30 and prepare a table. So we will take the values 30, 28, 26, 24, 22. First I write net premium paid, 2 rupees. So that is outflow of cash for me. Now, as buyer of call option, when will I exercise my right to buy? Call option. When will I exercise the right to buy? I will exercise the right to buy when the market price is less than 30 rupees. Market price is less than 30 rupees. Market price is less than 30 rupees or more than 30 rupees. Call option. Call option is always when it is on the higher side. When it is more than 30 rupees, it will be exercised when it is market price is greater than strike price. But here is the market price greater than strike price? Answer is no. So I will not exercise the call option at all. As seller of call option, as writer of call option, I don't have to think, other party will think. What is the other party going to think? They have bought the call option. I have sold the call option, they have bought the call option. When will they exercise their buy option? Their call option, when the market price is more than 30. Like I said that I will exercise if it is market price more than 30. My counterparty will also exercise. Everybody will exercise. If anybody who has purchased the call option will exercise the call option only when the strike price, here this is the exercise price. Okay? This is the exercise price. This is the exercise price here. When will it be exercised? When it is market price is less than? No. Market price is more than strike price, because again it is a call option here. So when it is more than 35, but 35 itself is not there. More than 35. More than 35. Do we have market price more than 35? No, we have everything less than 30. 30 and less than 30. So the counterparty in the second case will also not exercise the option. So I don't have to do anything. So what is my profit or loss? I will be suffering loss only. Whatever premium I have paid, net premium paid, 2 rupees, that is my loss. Okay? Go through the examples once again. Stock price is more than or equal to 35. Take figures 35 and above. Net premium paid will remain the same, 2 rupees. As buyer of call option is 30, buyer of call option 30. I will exercise when it is more than 30. So I will exercise in all the cases. Correct? If I am going to exercise in all the cases, how will I exercise? I will strike price. So your strike price is 30 rupees. So I will buy at 30, I will sell at 35, profit is 5. I will buy at 30, sell at 37, profit is 7. I will buy at 30, sell at 40, profit is 10. Buy at 30, sell at 42, profit is 12. Buy at 30, sell at 45, profit is 15. As a writer of call option, counterparty, when will counterparty exercise the call option? When it is more than 35. More than 35. So in the first case, they will not exercise the call option. In the second case, they will exercise the call option. What they will do? They will buy the share. From whom? From me. They will buy the share from me. So I have to sell the share at 35. Sell the share at 35, buy at 35, no profit, no loss. Sell the share at 35, buy at 37, loss of 2. Sell the share at 35, buy at 40, loss is 5. Sell the share at 35, buy at 42, loss is 7. Sell the share at 35, buy at 45, loss is 10. Correct. Profit or loss. 5 minus 2, 3. 7 minus 4, 3. 10 minus 7, 3. 12 minus 9, 3. 15 minus 12, 3. Follow. Go through the example once again. If I am the writer of a call option, this is where the confusion comes. When I am the writer of a call option, I don't do anything. I will think from my counterparty to whom I have sold. Suppose I have sold to you one call option. That means you have bought a call option from me. When will you exercise? You will exercise when the market price is more than 35. What will you do? You will buy the share. From whom? From me. Correct? So I have to sell the share to you. If I have written the call option, I have to sell the share to you. Sell at what price? At the strike price. So I will sell at 35. I will have to buy at 37. Loss. I have to sell at 35, buy at 40. Loss. Sell at 35, buy at 42. Loss. Net figure combined is 3 rupees profit. Case 3. Above 30, below 35. Now numbers are fixed. Above 30, so 30 is not included. Below 35, so 35 is also not included. 31, 32, 33, 34. Only 4 figures can be taken. Until unless you want to take some decimal figures. Net premium paid 2. If I am the buyer of call option, I will access when it is more than 30. I will buy when it is more than 30. I will buy in all the 3 cases. All the 4 cases. I will buy at 30, sell at 31, make a profit 1 rupee. Buy at 30, sell at 32, make a profit of 2. Buy at 30, sell at 33, make a profit of 3. Buy at 30, sell at 34, make a profit of 4. Writer of call option, I will not decide, you will decide. When will you buy? When will you buy? When it is more than 35. Is it more than 35? No. So you will not buy. So I will not sell. So no, there is nothing for me to do now. Nil. Profit or loss. Minus 2 plus 1, minus 1. Minus 2 minus 2 plus 2, 0. 3 minus 2, 1. 4 minus 2, 2. This is what we have. These are the simple questions on options. This itself can be quite confusing if you are not focusing on the solutions and you are not focusing on what I am saying. Okay, so I complete this lecture here, but I want you to go through this lecture 2 or 3 times minimum, so that you understand what I am saying and what I am doing. You have to understand that. Unless you understand, you will not be able to proceed. In the future, there is more to come. There is more to come. Therefore, be prepared. Go through these solutions. Until the next lecture, send your feedbacks continuously. Any difficulties, you contact me. Today, I was a little busy in the morning because of a lot of queries which are coming. I had to attend a webinar also. A lot of queries came in. I have solved some of the queries. Some of the queries are still pending. I will be sitting after this lecture to solve those queries also. Okay? So, any queries are there, please feel free to write to me. I will get back to you whenever I have time, and I will ensure that your difficulties are solved. Okay? Fine. Till then, stay safe, stay at home. God bless you.